Okay, so for today's walk and talk, we are going to talk about silent struggle, a man's silent struggle specifically. And what do we mean by that? Well, we've seen through the Whole Man Academy that so many guys, we can split it actually into two types of silent struggle. Let's put it that way. So you've got the silent struggle that a man knows he has. So for example, you might know someone who, a bit like when I worked in the city, maybe you're unfulfilled in your job, maybe everything else is going well in your life. We know some people that are in a relationship that they want to get out of. I know that myself from years ago, and maybe you're holding on because you don't want to hurt them, or obviously kids involved, maybe a mortgage, ties, things like that. And also, you know, when you've got kids, of course, it adds a new layer to the complexity if you're with someone and you want to split with them. But also we had some guys that are in a certain business. I spoke to one a while ago that on the outside, you'd say he's got this business and it's all going well. And actually when he spoke to me, he's like, I fucking hate it. I'm sick of it. I haven't liked it for years. But yeah, on the outside, you'd be like, this guy's doing really well. He's killing it. And that was his silent struggle, like how to get out of, you know, what he's involved with already. But the other silent struggle, now, let's go back to that. You might understand and know people, either yourself or a guy who's got one of those kind of silent struggle that's kind of, to him, is obvious. But the other really interesting silent struggle is the one that a guy doesn't even know he has, or maybe he does subconsciously, but he hasn't actually kind of said it out loud or even in his own head. And I spoke to someone the other day, it was really interesting, who, when we do mentorship program, and basically sitting down with the guy, you know, going through all the different factors of his life, seeing what's working, what isn't, what he'd like to do, setting goals, blah, 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 all the usual stuff that's really important for a guy. And I could see that there was something there that he maybe hadn't even seen himself. And it's not for me to necessarily tell him what it is. I mean, it's always so much more powerful when you have that realization yourself and that ding, light bulb moment. And it was amazing because when he finally realized that there was something that was going on, which meant that he really needed to take some action, you could see the, what's the word? Like the relief, firstly, from his shoulders, but also like the energy inside to say, do you know what, I need to do this. Do you know what, I must do this. I need to do that. I need to say this to someone. And I was like, yes, like capture that energy. That is exactly what we're looking for, and take that into everything that you're doing. But go and deal with that fucking silent struggle as soon as humanly possible. Don't let it fester. And that's what I've seen with guys, and I knew plenty that worked in the city as well, or guys I've met through the Whole Man Academy, that will just bury that issue. And I understand why, because sometimes it's painful to address, but that issue generally is not going to go away, and it is just going to increase the pressure on your shoulders. And then sadly one day, or a lot of the time, guys then go to coping mechanisms. And let's list the coping mechanisms. I mean, the obvious ones is alcohol, for one. Sometimes it's no exercise, and it's leaving an unhealthy life, so it's maybe smoking. Again, drinking is the obvious one, but then you've got people that actually go the flip side of coping mechanisms, and it will be exercising too much, and excess in that way. Other coping mechanisms of course these days, it's like just mind-numbing social media, porn, what else? There's plenty of other things, or just working all the time, and not facing up to what's actually going in your life. So it's really, really interesting to understand different guys and what we call their silent struggle. And that hasn't got to necessarily mean, something that some guy is thinking of taking his own life over, but it's just pissing him off. And every day you wake up, and even if you're not thinking about it all the time, it is playing in the background of your mind, what's the term, like, software that plays in the background of your mind. So have a think about that today. Maybe if you have got a silent struggle, or maybe if you haven't, you look around you, the people that you work with, or your family, or have you, and just think to yourself, I wonder what their silent struggle might be if they had one. And maybe that would help you tune into the way they're acting, what they're saying, stuff like that. So something interesting to think about on what's today, Thursday. On top of that, we've got the podcast with Ada Lee comes out. Well, it actually comes out tonight at 9 o'clock. It goes live there, but most people will see it first thing in the morning. Really good conversation, going deep on a few interesting topics. Yeah, that's out tomorrow. And apart from that, the Whole Man Academy newsletter, hello, very popular, a few fans. The Whole Man Academy e-letter comes out on Friday, and we send it out Monday, Wednesday and Fridays these days. It comes out at 10 o'clock in the morning, drops into your inbox without fail. I think I've only missed one in about 4 years actually, and that was again because we had a bloody power cut, which obviously is the overlords getting us ready for all our energy blackouts. Can't wait for that. Anyway, that's about it for now, so I'm going to head back home. and finish off doing the last few bits of the podcast, and also just enjoy a little bit of sunshine, because up in the Cotswolds it is beautiful. It is I don't know, it's about 12-13 degrees, blue skies as you can see, no one's painting those silly white lines over the top, and it's time to head back and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. So I wish you well, look out for the podcast, and as always, let me know what you think, if you watch it on YouTube or you listen to it on Anchor, Spotify, whatever. And the final thing is always to remember that the world needs strong men. Right, I'm out of here.